One of the enduring Trump reality creations that millions accept without making any effort to verify is that Trump built a financial empire as a genius businessman. The process of creating this brand started with the publication of the book Art of the Deal that was published in 1987 and the many self-promotion books published thereafter that successfully created an image of Trump as a successful businessman, notwithstanding the facts that he was actually losing hundreds of millions of dollars in the 1980s and into the 1990s. He reported a loss on his 1995 tax return of over $900 million and had bankrupted several businesses that he had started during that period. Those are just facts. It is unfortunate that so many do not actually look at the evidence, which is easily accessible online, that rebuts Trump's claims about being a successful and genius businessman that started almost from scratch. I discussed some of that evidence in prior videos, which I will link in the More section. Trump has never told the truth about how much money he inherited from his dad. He claims that maybe he borrowed $1 million from his estate or some other small sum that he paid back. He wants to create an image that he made on his own all the money that he has. The New York Times looked at the relevant documents and found that he received $413 million from his father's businesses expressed in 2018 dollars. In my opinion, he would have been far better off just investing that money in the S&P 500 and just forget about trying to be a businessman. His self-promotion as a genius businessman did work on tens of millions who could not be bothered to verify his boast and self-promotion efforts by actually looking at the facts. Facts are irrelevant in Trump world anyway. During a deposition in April 2023, Donald stated under oath that he had, quote, substantially in excess of $400 million in cash, end of quote, and that sum was, quote, going up very substantially every month, end of quote. He added later that he had, quote, over 400, fairly substantially over 400 million in cash. That's just cash. That's just cash, end of quote. As I mentioned in my earlier discussions on the appeal bond issue, if he had that much cash that was going up substantially every month, he could post a bond in the full amount of the civil fraud verdict without much trouble at all. When I discussed the appeal bond that would be needed to file an appeal of the $455 million or so civil fraud verdict, now accruing more interest as time goes by, I stated that I seriously doubted that Trump had $400 million in cash then or now. That has proven to be the case, as his attorneys claimed in a motion to reduce the bond amount made to the New York Court of Appeals that a bond in excess of $100 million would require Trump to sell properties. This is what Trump's attorney said in the motion, quote, in the absence of a stay on the terms herein outlined, properties would likely need to be sold to raise capital under exigent circumstances, end of quote. The appellate judge who heard that emergency motion refused to lower the bond amount, but did stay that part of the order preventing New York banks from lending Trump money. An appeals panel will hear the request on March 18th and may revise the bond amount or keep it in force in full. The 30-day clock on posting the bond started on February 23rd, so the bond has to be posted around March 25th unless he is given more time. If the required bond is not posted in time, the New York Attorney General may start to collect on the judgment but Trump can still appeal. The bond stays the enforcement of the judgment until the appeals are exhausted and a final judgment is entered with no appeals remaining.